What's up, guys? This is Mike the Hammer K coming at you with episode 7 of the Hammer Klogs. So for serious this time, I'm going to do the grand finale of my favorite games, and this is going to be from the Xbox, PS2, GameCube era all the way up till the current generation. Also, note, this is around the time that there weren't exactly as many console exclusive games, and so a lot of the games that are my favorite actually came out on, you know, Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, or 360 and PS3 or something like that. So just because I have it for a specific console doesn't exactly mean that that's my favorite. You catch the drift. Alright, first on this list is the original Halo. The original Halo is actually a really good example of how first-person shooters have evolved. Hence the title, Combat Evolved. This is one of the first games that I remember playing with that whole dual thumbstick approach, and it's become one of my favorite control schemes. I actually prefer it over mouse and keyboard, even though mouse and keyboard is more accurate. I still like the feeling of a controller better. I'm just a console gamer, you know, what can I say? But yeah, everything that this game did for the first-person shooter genre in general, a lot of it's still in practice today, and I'm thankful that it exists, even though I'm not as much of a Halo fan nowadays, but you know, what are you gonna do? It didn't evolve very much after this game. Next is a game that wasn't exactly an Xbox exclusive, so Max Payne. Max Payne is a very story-centered action game. If you haven't heard about it, it's basically the story of a cop who his wife and daughter were killed, and the whole story is about him trying to solve this murder. And as you can imagine, he's kind of a not so happy dude after that happened. But the way the story is presented is really cool, and it's also one of the first games that actually made good use of the whole bullet time thing, you know, from The Matrix. This game was an Xbox exclusive, but it is a remake of an N64 game, which this is actually one of my favorite N64 games, but since I don't own it on N64 anymore, I just thought I'd include it in the Xbox era. This is Conquer Live and Reloaded, and it is a HD remaster. Well, it's not really HD, but a remaster of Conquer 64. Imagine Banjo Kazooie, but for adults. Everything's really dirty.
Me. I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my meow at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little
There's lots of profanity and really a lot of adult content in this game. As you can see, it says, warning, this game is not for anyone under the age of 17. And the N64 version is actually, this is a lot more censored than the N64 version was. And the N64 version had stickers all over it that said, do not play this game if you are under the age of 45. Next is another game that I don't actually physically own. Metal Arms Glitch in the System. And a lot of people haven't heard of this game, but it is an incredible game. Basically, it's the story, you're like a robot intergalactic bounty hunter, and each level takes place on a different planet. And it's very fluid, and it's one of those games where you can tell the developer loved what they were doing when they made it. And that being said, it's a sad story from the developer's perspective. It was developed by a company called Swingin' Ape Studios, which was founded in the year 2000. And basically, they started developing this game, and there was another bounty hunter game or something that was coming out around the time that they were trying to pitch this idea. They created a demo of the game, and they were trying to pitch the idea to publishers to get somebody to bite, to get somebody to, you know, publish the game for them. And they took a video and some pictures and stuff to E3 one year, and after showing it to a ton of publishers, eventually Sierra picked up on it, and they published the game. And when the game came out, they didn't really do their fair share of marketing with the game, and so basically it ended up being a flop, not because it wasn't a good game, because everybody that bought it said it was an awesome game, and reviewers gave it awesome reviews and everything, but not enough people bought it. And they actually released an official statement about why they canceled the second one. It was because not enough people bought the first one. And this is a fine example of why you should buy games I know a lot of people don't think that their purchases matter, but in this case, you know, this is a game that was destroyed because not enough people bought it, and you know, that sucks. But this is not a piracy rant. I can save that for another Hammer Clog. Next is, once again, another game that I do not physically own. Beyond Good and Evil. It would be known as a sleeper hit. It's one of those games that a lot of people don't really realize until after the fact. You know, they start buying it used and whatever, and then the sales don't matter, and they end up not making a sequel because not enough people bought the game. And so, Beyond Good and Evil, it's a very innovative game, and there's a lot in it. It's a third-person, I guess, kind of action game. While the story is, you know, kind of built for a game, it is a very real kind of story, and you learn to care about every character in the game by the time the game is over. And it's one of those games that when you finish, you're kind of depressed that it's over. And in my book, that's a good game. And this game just came out on XBLA a couple months ago, and I would highly recommend buying it. Please buy it so they'll make a second one. Next, I'm going to move on to the Wii, and I'm going to start off with Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy is kind of another step forward from how Super Mario 64 was from Super Mario World or whatever. I mean, it wasn't exactly, you know, the step from 2D to 3D or whatever, but the idea behind this game is very innovative. The way you walk around planets and stuff, and it's just the way you interact with the environment is awesome. And it is an extremely polished game, and I would highly recommend it. If you like Mario 64, this is your dream game. And unfortunately, I haven't played Super Mario Galaxy 2. I have heard that it's good, but I do need to check that out. That is on my list of shame. But yeah, Super Mario Galaxy, highly, highly recommended. Not to mention, the soundtrack to this game is incredible. And don't let anybody tell you that you should play this game on mute, because you will miss the entire experience. Next for Wii is Donkey Kong Country Returns. And this game just came out recently. It's a retro side-scroller, or an HD retro side-scroller. And it has the same vibe that the original Donkey Kong Countries had. There's some new gameplay mechanics, such as the health. As far as when you get hit, you know, you don't... In the original games, when you got hit, you had two monkeys, you lose one monkey, and then you get hit again, and you're done. But in this game, you actually have hearts. And Donkey Kong has 2 hearts, and then Diddy has 2, and so once you have Diddy, you actually have 4 hearts. And the game is pretty hard. This is not a kid's game. Like, the new Super Mario Brothers for Wii, it's a very easy game. I don't think it's that difficult. A lot of the things that they did to the new Super Mario Brothers, they made it a lot easier than the original Marios were. Such as if you get a fire flower, you know, you get hit, you're Big Mario. You get hit again, then you're Little Mario. But in the original games, you're Fire Mario. You get hit, you're Little Mario again, and you know, you're almost done. But anyway, this game is. It is challenging, and it is not a kiddie game. The people that would play this are the people that played the original Donkey Kong Countries, so if you like those, I would definitely recommend this game. The music is, a lot of it's remixed David Wise music, so the nostalgia in the game is pretty heavy. But if you like nostalgia and you like side-scrollers, you like the original Donkey Kong Country series, then this is a game that you should definitely check out. Next is Cameo for the Xbox 360. And this was one of the first games that was developed by Rare after they were acquired by Microsoft, and it is an Xbox 360 exclusive. But it has that typical Rare feel to it. You know, it's a very colorful game. It's very vibrant, very beautiful, and the gameplay is very innovative. You're this girl, and basically you can transform into different animals, different creatures, or whatever to perform different tasks for different parts of each level. And you know, this is yet again another one of these games that not a lot of people bought into. It was a launch title for the 360, which I guess was the reason why a lot of people bought it. It was one of the only, I guess, like kiddie games that came out with the 360. But yeah, it is a very awesome game, and if you like Rare games, it has that Rare feel the entire time, so I would definitely recommend it. While I'm talking about Rare, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one. This is Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for the Xbox 360. And a lot of people didn't play this. It really, the idea of it turned them off. Like Rare announced that there was going to be a Banjo Kazooie game for the 360, and then they say, oh, by the way, it's a vehicle game. There's a cat on my chair. It's a vehicle game, and the cool thing about this game is not only it's kind of like Diddy Kong Racing, if you ever played that. Anyway, so the approach that this game takes is basically each level has a mission. And you have to solve some kind of problem with a vehicle, and you're basically thrown into a garage, and then you're given a bunch of parts, and you know, it has a list of what the parts do, and you literally build a vehicle from scratch, and get it to do whatever you need it to do to accomplish a certain mission in the game. And it's a really cool idea if you like building things, which I do. This is an awesome game. If you don't really like building things, you don't like, you know, making something and have it succeed somehow by accomplishing something, then this probably isn't really your game. And that's why a lot of people were turned off, because they were expecting a Banjo Kazooie game, and it really isn't. It's just kind of like a, you know, an erector set game, Banjo Kazooie style. Next, Grand Theft Auto 4. And I played this game a ton. I cannot even begin to describe how much I played this game. When the third Grand Theft Auto came out, you know, I was totally all over that. I thought that was an awesome game. Just that whole sandbox deal. I hadn't really been accustomed to that until that game came out, and just the freedom of the whole thing, being able to do whatever you want in this city was awesome to me. And so I really bought into that concept. And when this came out, you know, it was like that to the next level. You know, this is an incredibly deep game as far as not really the story. It's not really a deep story or anything. I mean, you know, you do crime missions. It's kind of all it is. But the depth in the game itself is pretty incredible, as far as being able to walk into an internet cafe, get on the internet, and cruise around the internet in the game. And I'm not talking like the real internet. I'm talking about like the internet that Rockstar developed. Like, you can cruise around and find people's I don't remember. Well, they're like MySpace profiles, but whatever they were called in the game, you can view their profiles and see all these things and pictures of these people and whatever they're in the game, and stuff like that. And it's just it's incredible the amount of detail that was put into this game, and I really appreciate it. As far as the art form of gaming is concerned, you know, I really consider this game one of the most detailed games that I've ever played. Next, Transformers War for Cybertron. This was a game that came out about a year ago, in March of 2010, I think. It was a game that was developed by a team that really understood Transformers, that actually cared about the Transformers universe, cared about, you know, the legacy, and you know, just the history of Transformers in general. There's lots of dialogue in this game from the 1986 Transformers movie, and for me, it's incredibly nostalgic. Nothing is forced in this game to me. It runs off the Unreal Engine, which it makes it very smooth. It's basically like it's a third-person shooter, and you can transform, and to me, it's the best Transformers game that's ever come out, hands down. Switching gears here a little bit, I'm going to talk about Uncharted II for the PS3. This game is like a movie. You know, Sony advertised this game as basically a movie. And you know, the whole movie game thing is really something that a lot of people fight with. You know, like why would I want to watch a movie when I just want to play a game? But the way that this game integrates the progression of the story of the game and the gameplay is really incredible. The story is basically unfolding around you, and you know, it's really an incredible feeling. It feels like you're playing a movie and you are controlling what is happening in the movie. The writing for the game is awesome. It's some of the best writing and delivery of the writing that I've heard in a game, up until Portal 2, which came out recently, which I'll probably talk about in another clog. But yeah, Uncharted 2 is definitely an awesome game. If you like immersive gameplay as far as really getting involved in what's going on the screen, I would definitely check this one out. Next for the PS3 is Enslaved, and this is another game that I found very immersive. It came out about the end of last year. This also runs off the Unreal Engine, similar to the Transformers game, but there's lots of ledge jumping and climbing and stuff like that, and there's some very unique hand-to-hand combat, and just the way that the story unfolds around you, you really learn to care about the characters, and there really aren't that many characters in this game. There are basically 3 characters in the game. Robots have taken over the world. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic game, you know, as if that hasn't ever existed before. It is a very beautiful game. The environments are beautiful. All the colors are very vibrant. You really learn to care about the characters in the story, and I'm not going to really talk about the story very much because I'll give a lot of it away, but I would definitely check this one out. Hopefully this is another sleeper. Hopefully they'll make another one of these, so go buy it, please. I don't think it's very expensive anymore. So yeah. Finally, for the grand finale, and I'm sure you were asking why I didn't include this game before, and I wanted to save it for last because, you know, I mean, what can I say? It's Bioshock. Bioshock for me is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. The story in the game is really incredible. It has one of the most incredible plot twists that I have ever experienced in a game. You know, you basically spend the entire game believing something, and then, you know, about I guess 45 minutes to an hour or so before the game is over, everything that you know about this game changes. And it's such a unique perception of that whole idea that, you know, nothing is what it seems. And if you really think and you look close enough, you can see that, you know, something's not right here. But it's definitely a game that you should check out if you like story-driven games, as most of the games that I have named are very story-driven. This one especially. It's not that you end up caring about the characters in the game, but more of you feel like you are the one that just got betrayed in the game, and that to me is the definition of immersion in gaming. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this list. It's been cool going back and talking about a lot of these older games and kind of rethinking why they're some of my favorite games. Yeah, I don't really know what the next Klog is going to be about. I'll probably decide that immediately before I start shooting it. Be sure to check out next Monday for whatever I decide to do the Hammer Klog on. Until then, check out Jordan and Donna doing the thing that they do on Wednesdays and Fridays of the week. And I will see you guys in 1 week. Deuces.